The Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K is on its way, but is it the right camera for you? Today, I hopefully help you decide that. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. Uh, Today, I'm starting another new series. This one is called Path to the Pocket Camera. Uh, as you all probably have heard by now, unless you've been living under a rock, Blackmagic has announced its latest update to the original Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera, which was a cult classic, myself included. I actually owned the original Pocket Cinema Camera and I loved it to death. But they've not recently at NAB 2018, they announced the Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Not going to go over the specs. You all heard about the specs and and I did a video about that already. If you haven't seen that video, I'll make sure to leave a link in the description below. But today, I'm sort of starting this new series called Path to the Pocket Camera, meaning leading up to the camera's release, which is supposed to be September. I want to sort of help you decide, not only help you guide on if this camera is right for you, but also if you are going to get this camera, things that you should prepare yourself to use with this camera. Because if this is not like your typical DSLRs, and anybody that's coming from a DSLR background or a small body cameras that's worked with other cameras, this one's going to it's going to be a little bit of a shock value. Hopefully, so things I'm definitely going to go into based on my experience with Blackmagic cameras as well as with the original Pocket Cinema camera. I'm hopefully able to give you guys some guidance on everything. So I'm definitely going to be talking about raw workflow. I'm going to be talking about the setups and things that you may possibly want to look into as accessories. But today, we're going to be talking about just the first thing that should come to mind is this camera right for you? And a lot of people are interested, but this may not necessarily be the right thing for them because this camera is a very, very particular camera that is targeting a very specific audience. And that's sort of what I want to go into today. So to help decide, I think it was better to talk about who is this not for? So who is this not for? People that have issues with the GH5S or the GH5, this camera is not for you. The reason why I say that is because it basically doesn't address any of the issues with the Panasonic GH5 or GH5S, particularly the GH5S. The only thing it addresses is price. But in terms of features and functionalities, it's all the downsides of the GH5S is still in the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. There's no in-body image stabilization. The autofocus is actually worse than the GH5S simply because there really isn't any autofocus. It's just there is a one push button, but if you guys have ever owned one of the previous Blackmagics or worked with the previous Blackmagics cameras, you will quickly find out that it's completely unusable. So yes, it can send the information from lens to camera, but honestly, the autofocus is basically worthless and it's not worth the time. So, if autofocus is a big deal for you, if in-body image stabilization is a big deal for you, this camera is not for you. Point blank, period. If you're the type of people that does not like adding features to the camera, you want to try to just keep it on the camera and keep it cameras go, you don't want to add anything else, this camera is not going to be for you simply because this camera, even though Blackmagic says they're trying to basically just keep everything within the camera, the truth of the matter is to properly use it for multiple scenarios, you're going to have to rig it out. Especially if you want to use this for any type of professional work, you're definitely going to need NDs. There's no built-in ND filter, so you're definitely going to need NDs. And for professional work, that means getting the 4x4s, which means you need to get rails and a map box and a whole set that's probably going to cost you about another $1,000 to $1,500 for good, decent quality ND filters system. The next thing you're going to need is probably you're going to need a mount and an external monitor, simply because the screen does not flip. Now, most people say, well, you already have a monitor on there, a 5-inch monitor screen, and you can have ProRes built in there. Why do I need an external monitor? Well, yeah, that's fine, but again, it doesn't articulate at all. It's right there. So unless you are looking directly into the screen, if you have to do a low shot or have to shoot it above, well, that's going to be limited on your visuals, and it's going to be harder for you to see what you're capturing in shot, which means you're going to need an external monitor. Doesn't necessarily mean like an Atomos recorder, even though I probably would recommend those simply because, especially if you were planning to do any sort of HDR content, you got to go with you got to get an external monitor. It's just because it's hard unless you're seeing it in front of you. It's going to be hard to see. This camera's not necessarily for you because you're definitely going to have to rig it up to make it work in most situations. Having said all that, who is this camera for? Me personally, this is the entry-level camera for any filmmakers. So if you are an aspiring filmmaker, or a narrative content creator, and you really want to just push your creativity, there's no better option than the Pocket Cinema 4K. It's just because it delivers 12-bit RAW and also gives you ProRes. So great post-production workflows. Just be aware you are going to have to spend money to rig it up and set it up properly. I can guarantee you that. The other thing that I think this is great for is for people who already have a primary cinema camera. Like me, if you have the C200 or you have the EVO 1 or you have the FS7 or Red, you have all these other, or you have the Ursa Mini 4.6K. You have any of these cameras, having this as your B camera or even possibly a C camera, but this is a great secondary option to have to your main camera. So this is like a great B camera scenario. So, and it's at a very affordable price, and it also gives you access to one of the most amazing post-production software editing programs of all, DaVinci Resolve. And with 15, including Fusion, it just brings everything into one program, making it a lot more simple. Specs are specs. They don't mean anything. Ultimately, it's about how do you work and having the camera work for you and not you working for the camera. So that's my little soliloquy. Hopefully you liked this video. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to leave a comment below, and hit the subscribe button again. Until next time, my friends, take care.